Hey there, and welcome to the Board Game Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm Nick Angiers. In this episode, I'd like to tell you a little bit about one of my projects that I've been working on with Maple Leaf, and that's giant game rentals. So what I mean by that is I have giant versions of games, and then I rent them out for weddings mostly. And so far, I've done Giant Jenga, and you'll see Giant Jenga at a lot of weddings nowadays, and you can get them like custom painted and stuff. And I was doing some browsing online in a Facebook group to see what kind of games people were offering and what they were asking for. And Giant Jenga was always there. And then another one was a beanbag toss, which isn't really based on a board game, but it's still like an outdoor game. And I think nowadays people like to have these games at weddings, especially if at least part of the wedding is going to be outdoors, the reception. And it just gives something to do for people, like if they're if they don't really know anyone, or if they're just kind of hanging around, it gives them something to focus on. So I saw an opportunity there, and I made a Giant Jenga that was much more giant than any of the other ones out there. After a few searches on Amazon, the ones I saw were all the same size. They're about $100+, and it was really just like 2-3 times the size of a regular Jenga tower, which isn't a whole lot. So I went to Home Depot. Well, first I watched a few videos on how to make a giant Jenga tower, and then I bought 2x6s and cut them into the right size pieces. Now these are really heavy, so each piece is 1.18 kilos, which is more than twice the size of a full standard Jenga tower. So I have this huge tower, and the whole thing weighs 63 kilograms. It takes up a whole car trunk. It comes in this huge Tupperware, like a tote, and it takes 2 grown men to lift it. It has to have its own dolly, so it's more like Epic Jenga. And so far, I've done one rental for it. It was for a wedding, and I charged $100. They paid it. I had a friend deliver it because it was out of town for me, and pick it up after. And in theory, it all went well, but however, what happened, this was a mistake on my part. So I was out of town on that weekend. Something important came up, so that's why I had the friend take it, and then I split the fee with him. But when he delivered it, I asked him to set it up, and I don't know if communication broke down or what, but it didn't end up getting set up. Maybe they were just too busy to tell him where to put it. Anyway, so they forgot all about it, that it was there, and weddings are always super busy anyway, so it wasn't really a priority for them. And when I went to pick it up, I don't think they were super pleased, and I was thinking of giving them their money back, or offering them, like another free rental for a friend's wedding, but I didn't know how to go about expressing that without being super awkward. It was my first rental, so I really didn't know what I was doing. However, I see lots of potential in these giant games. So not just Giant Jenga, that's an easy one to think of, but also ones that can be customized. So Codenames is a good one, especially Codenames Pictures, which is the default one that I always use. And I've done custom Codenames Pictures for exactly one company so far, but it would work great for a wedding because I could do a consultation with them and get a bunch of photos of things that are important in their life, like the first gift that one gave to the other, or a place that they went on a vacation, anything sentimental. And then it's kind of like a memory book, but the pieces would be, or the cards would be 8x8 inches. You could do it smaller if you wanted. And then I could hang them on the wall. So I could use strings or just fasten them to the wall. Strings would be easiest to flip. And I think that'd be really cool. They could get to keep it after. They could play it whenever they wanted, or just hold on to it as a keepsake. It's so personal that I wouldn't be able to use it for other weddings, right? But I'd have a standard set that I can use for just any weddings. And a couple other ones that I had in mind were like Just One. So that's a cooperative word game. So that would work really well at weddings because, everybody's working together. So it's like a friendly environment, and so on. So the idea behind this project is that I would be like a game catering service. So they'd hire me for their wedding. $300 I think is fair, not too expensive. And then if they want to keep it, if they want to get any custom stuff and keep it, then they'd pay an extra $100 per game. And then they get up to 5 games, and I'll show up whenever they say. I'll set everything up. I'll hang around to help teach the games, and if needed, I can have a volunteer or two with me. And then at the end, I'll pack everything up and then take everything home. They don't have to worry about any of the setup or takedown or transporting it or anything like that, or even how to play the games. Just tell me where and tell me when, and then I'll do it. So prior to the wedding, there'd be a brief consultation, probably half an hour would be plenty. And then I'll tell them if I need any photos or anything, and they can just send those to me, what games they're interested in, if they have any in mind. If they're new to gaming, then I'll probably be recommending some games. But if they are gamers, then that's a different story. And I think that could be really cool, because I would take all the work on. They just tell me what they have in mind, what kind of games they like, and then I'll go about making giant versions of those. And the beauty of this idea is once I have the working games, like say I have a giant Wits and Wagers, I can use that for every wedding that I do when weddings start up again. And eventually I'd have like a catalog of these giant games. And I see big potential in this. Not in 2020, of course, and so it's on hiatus for now. But I have been working on some games and ideas for games through my Friday night live stream that would work as giant games for weddings or other parties. It would work for any parties, really, like corporate, staff, events, kids' birthdays, whatever. So it's a big territory to explore, and I don't think anyone's really doing this. You have people going to birthday parties as clowns, you have singers who do gigs, but you don't have like a game caterer, right? And it's really hard for people to organize games, especially when they have tons of other stuff, and they don't have that kind of experience usually. So if I can be like a professional person who does this, then I think there's lots of clients out there who could hire me once word gets out. So that is it for this episode. Next episode, I'll tell you a bit more about my live streams that I've been doing for 2 months now. So don't forget to tune in for that. Thanks so much for listening, and happy gaming.